Welcome to The Open Door with Kelly
and Kelly,
brought to you by Collective Creations
and Legendary Living Arts. Each week, join us for discussions on spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health with guests from all walks of life.
We invite you to connect. Okay, welcome, Teri, to the podcast today. It's wonderful to have you.
Welcome.
It's great to be here, guys.
Awesome. So we're just looking at your bio, and you are a consciousness coach. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
So tell us about your journey to doing that.
To becoming a consciousness coach.
Yeah.
Well, I never know where to begin because, obviously I was always really, since from a very young age, I was just looking for the truth in things, you know. So that was my journey. So way before any studies, way before any kind of ideas about coaching, I was like, well, that's not true. That's not true. And why are they saying that? And why do we have money? What's money anyway? I was trying to turn everything.
Why?
Yeah, right. None of this is really kind of making much sense to me here. So that was always the way of it. And, but what you really want to know is more recently the coaching stuff. So I guess it was around 2017 when there was a big chunk of time before that, but we'll probably come to that later. But around 2017, I finally called my spiritual journey non-duality, and I went, okay, this is it. It's oneness. I get it now. And there's people that get it, and there's other people that are doing what I'm doing. So, and get on that path. So I began to seek a little bit of community in satsangs, both online and local community, and, certain, wisdom teachers would come and I'd just sit, nothing big, nothing major, but somebody put the power of now in my hand. And I went, that was much earlier. That was around 2010 that I had that. So I was already, in this trying to understand everything, but very solo. There was nobody with me. But as I say, that desire was always in me. And in 2017, I kind of got myself into a situation as a parent where I really needed the help, kind of hit a wall with my child. We have one child, he's now 14. And I've been sticking my nose in a lot of books from Nisargadatta Maharaj, Paramahansa Yogananda. I was studying Rupert Spira in the UK. You name it. I was absorbing it, everything. But it was a very lonely journey. And I thought, well, okay, I'm having this situation where my child has become incredibly anxious. It was a catastrophic situation. We hit a wall very suddenly where he was getting bullied. And I have his full permission to share this story. You'll note that I started off saying she and now I'm saying he, and that's part of their journey. Okay. So there's a lot in that alone. So I'll just park that kind of here for now. We might revisit that. We might not. But understandably with the diagnosis of autism, with, a lot of gender creativity going on, bullying at school, put in a mainstream situation where they really weren't understood, they became traumatized. It was a really, and there'd been a few incidents that had occurred in their short life already that had brought us to this critical point. And it was critical without going into too much detail here and now. It was critical, as bad as it gets. And so I was kind of nailed to the wall with all of my spiritual understanding, needing the help that wasn't out there in the mainstream, because trust me, I knocked on every door that there was going. And, even therapists were saying, we don't want to see your child for another 6 months. As long as they're feeling like that, we don't want to help because we're accountable.
Wow.
So it was huge. And he's now very much a part of what I do and from a silent partner's perspective, but it's all come from there. We have an understanding, and he said, share the story, make it, put it out there. Let's help other people, which is, here we are now, which is 2 years down the line. In fact, it's more than that, actually. Yeah, it's 2.5 years down the line. So to cut a very long story short, I looked everywhere else. We tried every therapist, every modality there was going. And I found this Mind Valley course with Dr. Shefali Tsabary. And it combined everything I already understood about non-duality and intertwined it with Western psychology. And it landed it in such a way as to go, oh my goodness, here are the answers to all of my questions. Not a few, every single one of them. And not just about my child, but about everything.
Wow.
It was presented in such a way that every morning my husband and I, we get up and we turn on our little computer and we watch a 15-minute video on this crazy course. And we go, because she wasn't teaching us. She was just pointing back to what we already knew. And it was like, what we're feeling is true. What society's telling us isn't.
Right. Yep.
Alignment. So there it is. That's kind of how I started. And then after taking that course and healing and my child coming out of school and having 2 years at home, healing, getting to a point where,
yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
As a family, we reconnected, we unschooled effectively, everything stopped, all pressure off. We took on board these new teachings and everything shifted and changed. We regained connection at home, and that was all that mattered. And then I went, well, after a little bit of dust settling, I thought, if I can throw some crumbs back to somebody who was where I was 2 years ago, I need to start this journey. I need to be able to do it, because not only that, it was so preordained, because it was so tied in and intertwined with everything I was about already in terms of my, my journey of awareness. And that was my initiation. Does that answer the question?
Yes. No.
Yeah, very well.
Very well. Yeah. It is amazing. I know, trying to get help for kids that just, even in general, just when they have anxiety or anything, one of my daughters had it really bad for a while. And it's like this past year really has shifted a lot. She got a job last summer. So there's a lot of things where she gained a lot more confidence in herself. And for her, it came from a place that, and I know we've kind of talked about it, I think, on the podcast, and we talk about it openly.
A little.
I don't think that she would mind if I shared a little, but I think it was just her, she was a very confident person, and then she had things that knocked her down and really made her feel bad about herself. And like you said, just like experiences from other things, other people. And it's been a long journey for her too. And it's so nice to feel her making that, being strong, feeling strong, and
growing towards the strengths that she has inside of her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, I love hearing that, because, I think what I've learned in recent years is that it's not about what our children go through. It's not about the experiences they have, but it's about who they connect with and who they're able to share and who they're able to talk those things through with. If they feel safe enough to be able to say, hey, I'm feeling crap and this is why. And, that's where trauma ends, right there. It doesn't get held in the body. It doesn't, go on forever and ever become a story. That's beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So that's quite a story. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure that will help people. I'm glad that you all want to share your story, because that's why we want to do the podcast too, is to share not only our stories, but other people's.
Yeah. As Kelly was saying, I used to run, or do, a weekly or a monthly meditation class, and we'd have a few people. Some people initially came, but again, it's sort of finding those people that are actually willing to be open and vulnerable and look beyond their education in the mainstream reality. And a lot of them told us that we should be doing a podcast, that other people need to hear, because, like schedules and logistics, you have a podcast. And so we were all, and then this got us talking about, well, there's other people out there that have got stories, that have got journeys. And this is one of the things that Kelly and I talk about a lot is the journey.
And it is all about the journey, and it's really, isn't it, more and more? And I'm loving the fact that people like me now are able to just get out there and create some movement with life education. I was just looking yesterday about all these coaching accreditations, and they are important. You need to be held accountable, but for so many people, those are out of reach. For so many people, these psychotherapist qualifications are out of reach. They've really got a lot to share. And especially right now, where I think people's consciousness is awareness is growing at such a high speed that people
Yes.
are ready. They're so ready. It's now. I want to go. They're like, and they're allowed to. They're able to. They're just getting that vehicle beneath their feet, you know, so that they can get out there. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the questions that I don't even know if it's really a question, but based on what you do, because do you teach courses to people? Is it courses that you have, or do you coach people one-on-one? That'll lead to my question.
That'll lead to a question.
That'll lead to the actual question I was going to ask. Yeah.
Okay. So at the moment, I only graduated in June of last year, and what I've been trying to do, I've been doing so much actual one-to-one engagement that I haven't had the opportunity yet to develop the courses, to put the courses together, and that's absolutely what I want to be doing. I'm also in the throes of writing a book, so there's all of this stuff happening at the same time. I see I see this kind of vehicle as everything comes back to just the brand popped up, the true self that just popped up. It's all being presented to me. And as it's landing, there's just this opportunity for all sorts of things. I want people to just, everybody to just be able to access this kind of help. Because the stuff that I've been shown in the last few years has blown my mind. I went on a healing journey that took decades. And now people can do this stuff real quick. It's really, really straightforward. And they don't understand. And so they go down the route of the health services, and they go, they try it for all of the free modalities that are out there. And there are plenty, but they're kind of like, I found that a lot of those things cause me more pain, to revisit situations again and again and again and not actually find any peace within myself. And yet, there are so many ideas around trauma now, really helpful methodologies that I just want everybody to have. And I'm not alone. Now I've joined this community of people that are all, in this line of work, be it internal family systems, compassionate inquiry, conscious parenting. We're all together going, hey, in fact, so much so, internal family systems, they can't create the courses quick enough for all the people. We're on waiting list. There's actually a lottery for people to be able to do the training to teach it. How crazy is that, right? To be able to use it.
Yeah. I was talking with someone the other day about how, like, here in Canada, and we're in Manitoba, that when you're looking for any kind of mental health services, because I've actually had friends too who have been waiting for intake or treatment, and I thought, when you're in an emotional crisis or a mental health crisis and you don't have access to anyone or to a service immediately, that's really difficult for people because they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to turn to. I'm not sure what it's like where you are, but that's what it's like here. And I find that it's very frustrating when people need help right away, that it's just not available.
Yeah.
It isn't.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And I think it's so important. And one of the things that will come through is starting to come through. There's a huge movement. I know that it's going to happen. People are going to start to realize, damn it, I can do this myself. I can do this myself, if I were to just give somebody a framework, it's like, this is what made the difference for me. The little bits, the little snippets, but I was resourceful. I went out and I sought it, and I had access to the internet, and I had time, and I had a supportive husband, and I could do all of these things for myself. And the things that I did that worked were meditation, stillness practice on my own, downloaded from the internet. People have got all the answers inside themselves. They don't need a teacher. They don't need advice. They don't need to be taken back to their childhood to be told to stay there. Not that everybody does that. There are some great inner child voices out there, of course. But it can go on and on and on, yeah. So, really just to empower people. So I agree. There are so many people out there that need it right now. And also those suicidal people, people don't want to talk about suicide, right? People don't want to talk about self-harm. But those people who are suicidal, those people that are self-harming, just to be able to look them in the eye and say, okay, talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All people need is a safe space to be heard and felt and experienced, but that person has to be a real, present, empathic witness. And you can't drop them for a second. And that's just doing love.
Yep.
That's just doing understanding. And that's all it's about. It's about compassion. It's about doing love. It's about understanding. Understanding is love. Trying to understand somebody, that is love.
Yeah.
But switch off everything. Be fully present. And that's the same for parenting, right? So the whole thing comes together. I told you I can talk.
Yeah. Oh, keep talking.
Don't apologize. This is great.
This is great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You have lots to say. That's great.
Would you like to feel re-energized, revitalized, and ignite your spark within? Join us, Kelly and Kelly, for a 2-day event, Saturday, February 19th and Sunday, February 20th, to dive deep into your innermost self to ignite the divine spark within. Learn from spiritual coaches with decades of experience in meditation, mantras, qigong, and more. Sign up today and receive a free gift. Registration link provided